fixes. This is a random video for me, but it's kind of a rant. This is something I hate and I detest. I really hate this kind of attitude, and I want to give a shout out to the original artist, Josh S26, for doing this really cool
It's
style,
cute. It's
classic
not like
retro
anything
mystery gang. You
special.
know, it's
To
a
be
great
honest,
little piece of art. I like the
to be
style.
honest,
I
it
think
really
this
isn't
guy's talented
much special, but it's good.
and has
It's good.
really got a lot of talent, and you can see that here. But there was someone that decided to take it upon themselves to be an idiot. And let's take a look. Now, before I say anything about this person, I don't know if they were real or not. They could have been trolling, they could have been anything, they didn't have many followers, and they weren't following many people. But this is a prime example of a problem. She took it upon herself to trace the work, change the work, and then put fixed. Next time, do not, in capital letters, forget that reputation exists. Thank you. Patronising bitch. Let's be real about it. You know what's really funny about art fixers, and this is what I find hilarious? There is a stereotype going on. It's funny how, in the current iteration of Scooby-Doo, turning Shaggy black, doesn't that A, infringe on a certain singer's copyright? B,
Well, they have
the
the
guy
rights.
who is a stoner living in a van with his dog is the black guy. And then
Yeah, they
making
just make it look really, really bad. Really bad. Like, like he's a loser stoner that chills with his dog and is all alone and gets no bitches, basically. Yeah, that's perfect representation of the black culture. I'm sure they love it.
Velma Hispanic. I disagree with race swapping either way. I want to clarify that one. Whether you're making
I could care less unless it absolutely, absolutely messes with the lore and the setting and the story. If you're race swapping just for the sake of race swapping and virtue signaling, then your story is probably going to be crap. But like in House of the Dragons, if they just subtly put it in, then yeah. My problem with House of the Dragons is, though, that all these people in there are shown as sexist, misogynist, um, somewhat homophobic, xenophobic, and not xenophobic because of color, but just because of territory. But they're not racist. None of them are racist. They're everything else that's an ist and a phobe. But they're not racist. Like they question what's her name, Rhaenyra's legitimate children, excuse me, they question Rhaenyra's children's legitimacy, basically. They question her children's legitimacy because they're not her husband's color. And that's about as far as they push the racism in there. So I don't get it. Why would they be homophobic, xenophobic, um, patriarchal, sexist, misogynist, whatever you want to call it, all three of those. Um, but they're cool with black people in power. And this black guy does, like in the character, he puts his foot down and makes noise, like is it because he's held in high regard that they're not racist to him? Because that wouldn't make sense either. Like they would just be calling him, you know, not worthy of it, not worth of being a noble because of his skin color. But I digress. That's my only problem with House of Dragons. Only problem. Everything else, magnificent. I 100% recommend it.
Making black characters white or white characters black or vice versa, Asian characters, whatever. I disagree with it, and there's a lot of history with the creation of Scooby-Doo that's being kind of erased. And this Velma HBO series looks terrible. Like, it's very obviously a different idea, and then they just created this. Now, this person got a lot of heat, and she deleted her Twitter, as you can see, which is hilarious, and really does go to show, and probably will start a new Twitter account under a different name and do the exact same thing. Going back to the original drawing, as you can see, because we don't need to give that art fixer any more screen time than she deserves. Now, basically she traced the original piece, changed things, and put her own signature on it as if it was her work.
That's disgusting.
I remember this. Now, basically
That is disgusting. I can't believe that. That lazy piece of shit.
work,
Man.
to the point that it is the same image barring 2 minor changes, and changing the colour background, and then claiming it's her own. Art fixing is ridiculous. We saw it with like the He-Man stuff and Teela and all of this, where people were putting their fan art from the originals up, and then people were really upset that they didn't match the new ones, and so on. And this is not a matter of diversity and representation, this is a matter of people who want to virtue signal, shame other creators, and create this toxic environment that is horrible. Leave other people's artwork alone. There's art that I don't like, but I'm not going to take it from someone and fix it, air quotes. It's just ridiculous. And ultimately, it comes down to the old adage of, if you're really unhappy, why not create your own original pieces? And I remember there was this Japanese artist who got hell for creating Knuckles, who, instead of... I never thought Knuckles was black. I presumed Polynesian, but just because of Sonic Adventure, but black, really? Like, people are just out there to virtue signal, shame you and attack you, and use your own work to get attention. Stop fixing other people's art. Have some guts and create your own. And leave people to create the art they want to create. Art is about expression and freedom. And this myth that all art is also political is ridiculous. Sometimes art exists just because art
exists.
And that's a whole thing. And that's coming from someone who studied art, that went to college to study art, and actually has some decent qualifications and history behind me. Art is very personal in how we want to see things. So instead of fixing other people's, create your own and let other people do what they want.
Amen.
It's not hard, it's not difficult. But, you know, at the end of the day, if your own ego, you are so offended by other people's art, maybe you shouldn't art in the first place. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to your own ego, your own self-satisfaction, and your own inability to not be a narcissist. So there we go. Stop fixing art, stop ruining other people's art, and just let it go, let it go.
Yep, I 100% agree. And sorry I was a little distracted there. I was trying to fix some...
Fan censorship is becoming...
areas.
And critic censorship is...
Yeah, let's do that one. And then
This is absolutely incredible. The producer of the War of the Rohirrim show, coming from Warner Brothers, is completely tearing apart Rings of Power on Twitter in this epic rampage that we are going to be taking a look at here. This is absolutely fantastic to see and gives me a lot of hope for what we can expect when it comes to the War of the Rohirrim show. It looks like this person actually cares about honoring the legacy of Tolkien and honoring his work and giving respect to what he has created, which is exactly what all that we ask for when it comes to the producers and the writers on these Tolkien projects. So it all started with this tweet here that this person has deleted, unfortunately. But before we get into that, just to give confirmation, this person says, "I'm so happy I can finally talk about this. I am producing a Lord of the Rings anime feature, and this is the War of the Rohirrim
Dope. Oh, no.
The war, and gives me a lot of hope about honoring the legacy.
I didn't know that there was an anime being made.
That this person has
That's
deleted,
freaking
unfortunately.
awesome.
But before we get into that, just to
I'm
give
so
confirmation,
happy now.
This person says, "I'm so happy I can finally talk about this. I am producing a Lord of the Rings anime feature, and this is the War of the Rohirrim movie that is going to be coming very soon, which I'm super excited about." So this is the tweet that this person said that says, to give a little bit of context, this is in response to an IGN tweet where they said, "Who is Sauron? Who is the stranger? We answer all the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power finale questions."
Halbrand, Gandalf.
And then this person responded and said, "Don't expect answers that make any sense or derive from Tolkien. Why make a show that's first and foremost going to appeal to Tolkien fans, only to shit all over the world, characters, and story that made us all fall in love with Middle-earth to begin with? I sure couldn't tell you, and I couldn't put it any way better when it comes to what the problems are with Rings of Power. And the fact is that there are still so many people out there that are willing to just take the shit that Amazon is giving us, and they just take it willingly. And they don't have any sort of guts or balls to criticize what Amazon is giving us. This total crap. It is so pathetic coming from people. But, unfortunately, this person had to delete the thread because of the massive amount of backlash that they were starting to receive over it. And honestly, they probably got some call from an agent or something like that. But they said, "Deleted the thread, it's drawing flies. Like all negativity, it just draws more negativity, a lesson I must continue to learn daily. By flies, I mean people that jump in my reply to be rude because they disagree with an opinion. I don't mean anyone who feels differently than I do. I'm not telling anyone what to enjoy or casting aspersions on those who like something I don't." And then, right here, they continue on by completely shredding Rings of Power. A little bit more diplomatic this time, but they said, this is in reply to a Hollywood Reporter tweet that said, "The Rings of Power showrunner, Sauron, will be like Walter White in Season 2. And all they said was, "The replies here are hilarious," and indeed they are. "Jesse, they're taking the hobbits to Isengard." Elrond discovering Halbrand's true identity. Cooking mithril to sell to the elves. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So this person honestly has completely abolished a lot of the fears that I had for this War of the Rohirrim project. Sounds like that Clark Nova really cares about Tolkien and wants to do the best thing when it comes to honoring Tolkien's legacy. And that is all that I ask for. That is all that we've ever asked for from these writers and producers. So with that being said, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk